You've seen it before. Your cat suddenly freezes, staring at a completely empty wall. No movement, no sound, just stillness. Most people laugh it off. They're being weird. Cats are just like that. But here's the problem. Cats are not random creatures. Every movement they make is deliberate. Every pause, every stare, every twitch has a reason behind it. So if nothing is there, why do they react like something is? Something about this doesn't quite fit the explanation we've been telling ourselves. And the truth is, what your cat is reacting to might not be something that isn't there. It might be something you simply can't perceive. And once you start looking at it that way, their behavior stops being strange and starts becoming unsettling. Think about when your cat chooses to just sit and watch, not playing, not hunting, not reacting to anything you can see, just observing. Most people assume it's boredom, or maybe curiosity. But that explanation falls apart the moment you remember something important. Cats are built for survival. They don't waste energy. They don't focus on nothing. When a cat locks onto something, their brain is processing information, real information, signals, movement, patterns. And here's where it gets interesting. Your cat's senses don't match yours, not even close. They hear frequencies you'll never notice. They see light your eyes can't detect. They feel vibrations that don't even register in your body. So when they stare at that empty space, it might not be empty at all. It might be full of details your world simply doesn't include. And if that's true, then your cat isn't acting strange. They're reacting normally to a reality you're completely unaware of. And once you realize that, you start to wonder, how much is happening around you right now that you're just not equipped to notice? There's a point where this stops being just about better senses and starts becoming something else entirely. Because if your cat can hear things you can't, see things you can't, feel things you can't, then they're not just experiencing more of your world, they're experiencing a different version of it. Think about that for a second. You walk into a quiet room. To you, it's still, empty, safe. But your cat pauses at the doorway. Their ears turn, their pupils widen, their body lowers just slightly. You think nothing changed. But to them, everything did. Most people believe humans see reality as it is. That what we hear, see, and feel, that's the full picture. But your cat quietly proves something else every single day. Reality isn't one fixed experience. It's filtered, limited, narrow. And your version of it is just one of many. So when your cat stares into that empty corner at 3 a.m., they're not imagining something. They're responding to something that exists, just not in a way your senses can confirm. And that realization changes something subtle but powerful. It means your cat has been navigating a world that overlaps with yours, but is never exactly the same. And if that's true, then every time they react to something you can't see, you're not witnessing randomness. You're witnessing a gap between two realities happening in the same room. Now think about the small things your cat does every day. The way their ears suddenly twitch, the way their head turns before any sound reaches you, the way they stop mid-step like they felt something shift in the air. Most people ignore these moments. They seem insignificant, random, but they're not. Your cat is constantly scanning, not just with their eyes, but with everything they have. Their ears rotate like independent sensors, catching tiny sounds hidden inside walls. Their whiskers feel changes in air pressure, mapping movement before it's even visible. Their eyes pick up motion in lighting so dim you'd call it darkness. And all of this happens quietly, automatically, all the time. So when your cat suddenly locks onto a spot and refuses to look away, it's not curiosity, It's focus. It's detection. It's recognition of something that, to them, is completely real. And here's the part most people misunderstand. They think the cat is reacting to something unusual. But from the cat's perspective, this is normal. It's your perception that's incomplete. You're the one missing information. And once you start seeing it that way, those small, weird behaviors begin to feel less like quirks and more like glimpses into a system that's always running, just beyond your awareness. At this point, it's easy to think your cat is just reacting to things around them. Sounds, light, movement. But watch closely during a quiet moment. You're sitting still. No noise, no motion, nothing unusual. And suddenly, your cat looks at you, not casually, not briefly, but with full attention still, focused, almost reading you. Most people interpret this as affection or curiosity, but that's only part of it, because your cat isn't just sensing the environment, they're sensing you. Your breathing changes, even slightly. Your posture shifts before you even notice it. Your body releases subtle chemical signals when your mood changes. And your cat picks up on all of it. So when they sit beside you during a stressful day, when they appear out of nowhere and quietly stay close, that's not coincidence. That's response. They felt something change in you before you even understood it yourself. And this is where everything deepens. Your cat isn't just living in a different sensory world. They're tuned to you inside it. Not just watching, but adjusting, responding, syncing. And once you realize that, their behavior stops being mysterious and starts feeling intentional. Now here's the part most people don't notice, because it doesn't happen loudly. It happens quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. Your cat, who used to sit near you, stops. The one who watched you closely looks away more often. The one who followed you from room to room starts staying behind. Most people explain it away. They're just in a mood. They're getting older. They're being independent. But cats don't randomly change patterns like that. Not without a reason. Because everything you've seen so far, the watching, the sensing, the reacting, it's part of a system. A system built on awareness and connection. So when that system shifts, it means something changed in the signals they're receiving. Maybe something in the environment feels off. Maybe their own body is telling them something isn't right. Or maybe something about you has changed in a way you haven't noticed yet. Your energy, your routine, your presence. Remember, your cat doesn't rely on words. They rely on patterns. And when those patterns break, they respond quietly, subtly. And this is why so many people miss it, because by the time the change becomes obvious, it's already been happening for a while. Your cat noticed it early, you didn't. At some point, if you've been paying attention, something clicks. All those moments you once ignored, the staring, the listening, the quiet reactions, they stop feeling random, and a different thought begins to form. What if this was never about what your cat sees? What if it's about what you don't? Because every time your cat pauses at nothing, every time they react before anything happens, every time they seem aware of something you can't detect, they're showing you a limit, not theirs, yours. We like to believe we understand our environment, that what we experience is complete, reliable, real. But your cat lives right beside you, proving over and over again that your version of reality is only partial, filtered, reduced. And here's the part that changes everything. Your cat isn't confused. They're not imagining things. They're completely certain. It's you who's unsure because you can't access what they can. So when your cat sits in the dark, calmly watching something invisible, they're not afraid. They're aware. And in that moment, they're more connected to their world than you are to yours. In the end, It's easy to think this story was about your cat, their senses, their abilities, their strange, unexplainable behavior. But it was never really about them. It was about perspective. Every time your cat stares into that empty space, every time they react to something you can't see, every time they seem to exist in a slightly different version of reality, they're reminding you of something simple and uncomfortable. You are not experiencing everything. And that's okay. Because your cat isn't here to confuse you. They're not here to prove anything. They're just living fully inside the world they can perceive. And somehow, in their own quiet way, they've chosen to share that world with you. Not by explaining it, not by making it visible, but by staying close, watching, responding, being there. So the next time your cat freezes and stares into nothing, don't rush to dismiss it. Just pause for a second and consider this. There may be more happening around you than you'll ever be able to see, but your cat sees it. And despite living in a world far more complex than yours, they still choose to stay right beside you.